Hi guys, it's Megan here, the Faithful Fibromyalgia Warrior, coming to you on Sunday, the 24th of March. I am just sitting down in City Hall Park, right down by City Hall here in Manhattan, not too far from the Brooklyn Bridge. Give you a scenery shot. So it's very cool. It has been an amazing time here in New York so far. However, if you'll notice, there's a bit of redness and blotchy on my face. And I realized, at first I thought, oh my gosh, I've developed an allergic reaction to something. And it took me a few days to finally figure out, no, I don't have any allergies, because I've never had allergies before in my life. I do have a lactose intolerance, but I've never had skin issues as a result. And I realized there was a few things playing. So the first, as I've shared with other videos, I started taking Lugel's iodine solution drops a couple weeks ago, because I realized, for one thing, I was constantly exhausted, even after my walks and my time at the gym, and I would always crash in the afternoon. My skin was still quite dry, my hair was still pretty brittle, my nails were still not in great shape. And from some of the great videos I watched with Dr. Barry and Dr. Elizabeth Bright, I came to realize that probably because I had been diagnosed as hypothyroid a few years ago, that my thyroid was probably still not at a functional optimal level, mainly because also I was constantly feeling bloated and dealing with IBS symptoms. And your thyroid controls your glands, but also things like your digestion. And in spite of being carnivore for 3.5 years, I was still having digestive issues. I still felt like I wasn't making the most use of the food I was eating. And so that started to make a huge difference. As I've shared, I had certainly had all kinds of amazing energy. I didn't need coffee all the time, or at least caffeine. So it was pretty fantastic. And I did notice just before I flew here into New York that my skin was finally starting to clear up, which seems to tell me that yes, quite a bit of that was affected by my thyroid, which iodine is necessary to produce the thyroid hormones that then regulate other hormones in your body, like your sex organs, your sex and reproductive organs, things like your digestion, your mental sort of stability, as far as your sense of calmness or stress factors, all play a part. Those are all a cascade effect of what the thyroid hormone does, right? And this was after being carnivore for 3.5 years. When I arrived in New York City, my face just seemed to explode. I thought it was really bad rosacea, which I'd had issues with on and off throughout my life, but it hadn't really been a problem before when I was carnivore. So I thought, okay, well, I'm tackling the thyroid. My skin isn't as dry. It doesn't feel as tight. It's starting to get better, but why this sudden explosion of like a rash on my face, like not even a rosacea, more like an eczema response, or an allergic type possible response. And I realized it was a couple of other things as well. One, my body is now finally getting rid of the last bit of oxalates that were held in the deep levels of my adipose tissue, which is your body fat. So that last little bit of fat finally started to shift. And toxins are finally, the last bit of it is still coming out. And so therefore, that's partly why I had a breakout. But also what I realized is the difference in the air quality between where I live in England and here, as well as the water and the food quality, played a massive role. Because as soon as I switched to only drinking like bottled water, I noticed that my skin felt less inflamed. And in keeping with the iodine drops, staying carnivore, certain fast food places I will not eat at. Made a mistake here of eating a Bacon King burger at Burger King, and it was just swimming in oil. Not, like I shared before, not beef tallow, not bacon grease, oil. I don't know what they did with it in the back, but my wrists and my ankles were like hurt. Within 5 minutes of eating, my back was in agony. Like some kind of seed oil got mixed in there. I'm convinced of it, or was added in at some point. Like I know there are places like, say, Five Guys, when they cook their fries, they do it in peanut oil. And maybe they grill their burgers on a flat top, not a flame grill, to be fair. But there's something in the way they prepare the Burger King food that I had almost an instant reaction. And I had the worst flare-up of whatever this was, whether it was eczema or acne or histamine. Basically, it was a histamine reaction. And it's taken me all this time for it to finally start to calm down. So, and you know, we've had some good places to eat here. The reality is the food quality standards are much, much higher, and certainly in the UK and the EU, also in Canada, compared to what it's like here in the States. And that's just a fact. I'm not saying it to be mean. I'm not putting anything down, because New York City is so freaking cool. It's awesome. It's a great place to visit. But just be prepared. If you're not from here and you're not used to the way they treat the water, the fact that there is a lot more pollution in the air because there's so many more people and cars and traffic in general, if you're not used to that, and you're also used to a different level of food quality, you may, in fact, have a pretty significant reaction like I did. Just a heads up. I mean, don't stop it from letting you visit, because it is a cool place to visit, but I would highly suggest that you may want to, for the first few days, drink mostly bottled water that has been distilled, like vapor distilled, because so how they treat the water in England, at least where I live, is it's hard water. So the minerals that are found in there occur naturally. There is no fluoride added, and the only thing they do to disinfect is use chloride, which is what they do here, as well as UV light. But then in the States, in a lot of the states, they add in fluoride and other chemicals to soften the water. But for myself, who's so used to, instead of adding in the elements to make it look and taste better, we just get the ones that occur naturally from the sources. And so it's considered hard water, but it's a lot gentler on my skin. It doesn't leave me feeling itchy when I get out of the shower. Okay? So if you're not used to softened water, you may react. And it can affect the face on your skin. It can affect the rest of your body. You may have a reaction like I did, which is like almost like an eczema response until you get used to it. Unfortunately, there's nothing that'll get rid of it. Other than, obviously, you still have to bathe, you have to shower. Other than, don't drink it if at all possible. Avoid it wherever you can. Make sure the water you get is distilled and purified. Doesn't have to be reverse osmosis, although I understand that's the best way to do it. You may not have that luxury. But if you get a good bottled water brand, like I stick with Smart Water, because that's what we get back in England as well, and I know there's none of the added stuff. Dasani from McDonald's and Aquafina from Burger King are essentially, and you can look this up, essentially they have not been revert or multiple filtered. They are the same level of quality as the tap water, which again, if you're used to it, no problem. But if you're not, it could really upset your gut. It was shocking to me how I reacted, how drastically I reacted, just by the difference in air and water quality, and also the food. So again, if you're used to eating the food, if you're from the States and you're used to, and you grew up with this, you're used to it. It won't affect you. But if you're coming down even from Canada, again, where the standards are different and definitely to a next level, and many places in Canada do not add fluoride to the water. The difference, like our younger son lives in Canada. He moved back 2 years ago. He came down and visited and stayed with us for 5 days, and he felt constantly unwell from the food. and he's not that far away. He's just a bit north of the border, and he noticed a difference. So I say that just, it's a great place to come. It is such a cool place. So many great places to see. I've been along Canal Street in Chinatown. I've been across the Brooklyn Bridge twice. We were in New Jersey last night to watch a hockey game, the Devils versus the Ottawa Senators. Neither one is my team, so I didn't have any skin in the game. But let's just say the Devils, wow. So many missed opportunities. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to check out a comedy show tonight. My husband and I were in the audience for a live recording of The Daily Show soon after we first got here. We had an amazing meal at Fogo de Chao, which, by the way, top quality meats, their sausages, pork belly, chicken options, as well as all the steaks and lamb. Super, super high quality. I had no reaction to any of the stuff I ate from there. Just as a heads up. So if you come here, definitely go to Fogo de Chao. It's well worth the price. It's amazing. Okay. Let's see. I think we took the ferry out to Staten Island so we could see the Statue of Liberty. We walked around Times Square, 42nd Street. We walked by Carnegie Hall. So some of these really cool landmarks. And today, I think my husband and I are planning to head out to Central Park and potentially even rent bikes, which I've not ridden a bike in over 20 years. I haven't. So I'm super excited. That is how amazingly I've healed. But I wanted to share this video today just to give you guys a quick update on this beautiful sunny but kind of chilly day. It's about 3 degrees, but the sun's out. So that's okay with me. I think back home it was more like 11 degrees. So, I look forward to the weather going up in a little bit. But I just wanted to keep you guys posted, let you know what's going on, and just say, if you ever get the chance to visit New York City, it is awesome. People here are really cool. It has been a fantastic trip. But just fair warning, if you're not used to the water, the air, and the food, just be prepared, okay? But on the same hand, it kind of was reassuring because I realized, one, I'm not suddenly developing allergies. My body is finally dumping out the last of the oxalates. My face is actually finally clearing up. So it's a bit red now, but it's way better than it was a couple days ago. I don't feel like I have to peel my skin off, so that's good, as I'm kind of getting used to this. And honestly, when I want to drink water, I've walked out to buy myself large bottles of water, of purified water, so I don't have to worry about the fluoride or any of the other added elements. And let me just say, it's not that it's polluted, because it isn't. The water's treated, so it's deemed safe to drink. It's just, if you're not used to it, especially coming from England, it could really do a number on your gut and on your skin overall. So just keep that in mind. But if you get a chance to come here, guys, it is so awesome, so cool, so many things to see and do. I will definitely have some more content soon. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to mention this, but on Friday, I had the absolute pleasure of being interviewed for a podcast called Carnivore Today with Adam. He and Carrie are putting together a documentary project called Healing Humanity. You guys need to absolutely check both of their channels out. And Carrie is at Homestead How, and like I said, Adam is at Carnivore Today. So I think he said that his interview that he did with me, should be up in a couple weeks. So hopefully you guys will get a chance to see that and check it out. But definitely check out these guys' channels. They are revolutionizing, or trying to, the way we look at food and health and healing. And there's so many great people out in this space, but wow, these guys, they're both faithful men of God, both Christians, taking that faith, taking the gratitude with their healing, and not just making the videos, which is great, but they are actively working to document and follow as many people as they can over a year who have had massive healing and improvements through a carnivore diet and lifestyle. And hopefully the more information gets out, the more people will learn about it and will have that same experience of health, improved health and healing. Anyways, guys, I need to get going here. I'm on the way back. We're going to be, as I say, I think our plan is to go to Central Park today, which seems like a perfect day for it with the sun being out. I hope you guys are doing super well. Thank you for all of your support, all of your love and your comments and encouragement. I appreciate it all. I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday, whatever you get up to. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye for now.